A person's true greatness is shaped not by their circumstances, but by the quality of their thoughts. This timeless principle has been proven again and again through the lives of extraordinary individuals such as Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, and Jeff Bezos. Napoleon Hill captured this truth perfectly in his famous book Think and Grow Rich when he wrote, "What the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." Yet if our thoughts are so powerful, a question naturally arises: why do so many people still struggle to succeed? Do they not dream about their future? Are they unable to see the potential that lies within them? Or is there something deeper holding them back? Today's story explores the answers to these questions. Along the way, it will reveal a powerful life lesson, one that can transform the way you see yourself and the world. You will also encounter a few new words to help improve your English skills, so stay with us until the end. I promise your time will be well spent. Music in the heart of a crowded railway station, where trains arrived and departed every few minutes and travelers rushed past with busy minds, lived a beggar. Day after day, he survived by asking passengers for alms as they waited on the platform. Some ignored him completely, some dropped a few coins without looking, and others avoided eye contact altogether. This routine had become his entire life. He woke up each morning with no expectations beyond collecting enough money to survive another day. He believed that begging was his fate and that there was no other path available to him. One afternoon, as the beggar sat near the platform entrance, he noticed a well-dressed businessman stepping onto the station. The man wore a sharp suit, carried himself with confidence, and moved with purpose. His polished shoes and calm expression stood out among the hurried crowd. The beggar thought to himself, "This man must be wealthy. If I ask him for money, he will surely give me a generous amount." Filled with hope, the beggar stood up, approached the businessman, and stretched out his hand. Instead of reaching into his pocket, the businessman stopped and looked directly at the beggar. His expression was neither angry nor unkind, but thoughtful. Then he asked a question the beggar had never heard before. "Do you always take from others?" the businessman asked. "Or have you ever given something to anyone?" The beggar was shocked. No one had ever spoken to him this way. Confused and slightly embarrassed, he replied, "Sir, I am just a beggar. I live by asking for alms. I have nothing to give to anyone." The businessman smiled gently and said, "If you truly believe you have nothing to give, then you also have no right to ask for anything. I'm a businessman, and I believe in exchange. If you can offer me something, I can give you something in return. But if you believe you have nothing to give, then I cannot give you anything either." With those words, the businessman boarded his train and disappeared into the crowd. The beggar remained standing there, frozen in place. The conversation replayed in his mind again and again. The businessman had not insulted him, yet his words struck deeply. "I have been begging for so long," the beggar thought, "and no one has ever spoken to me like this." He wasn't rude. He simply spoke the truth. For the first time in his life, the beggar questioned his own beliefs. If I offer nothing in return, he wondered, why should people feel compelled to give me anything? That night he could not sleep. He lay awake on the hard ground, staring into the darkness, thinking deeply. What can I possibly give? He asked himself. I am only a beggar. I have nothing. Yet the businessman's words echoed relentlessly in his mind. If you want to receive, you must first give. 2 days passed. During that time, the beggar did not ask anyone for money. He was too lost in thought, too busy questioning the beliefs he had carried for years. On the third day, while sitting quietly on the platform, his eyes fell on a small patch of wildflowers growing near the railway tracks. Despite the dust and noise around them, the flowers bloomed brightly, their colors vivid and alive. As he looked at them, a sudden idea flashed through his mind. What if? He thought, instead of only taking, I offer something in return. What if I give people a flower whenever they give me alms? With renewed determination, he walked over to the patch, carefully plucked a handful of flowers, and returned to his usual spot. When a passenger handed him a coin, the beggar smiled and offered a flower in return. To his surprise, people accepted the flowers happily. Some smiled warmly. Others thanked him sincerely. A few even paused for a moment, touched by the simple gesture. As the days passed, something remarkable happened. More people began giving him money, and the amounts were often larger than before. The beggar soon noticed a clear pattern. As long as he had flowers to give, people donated generously. When he ran out of flowers, the donations slowed. So it's true, he realized, people like to receive something in return. One day, While exchanging flowers for alms, he noticed a familiar face sitting inside a train. It was the same businessman. Excited, the beggar rushed over and said, "Sir, today I have something to give you. If you give me money, I will give you flowers in return." The businessman smiled, handed him some cash, and accepted the flowers. "You have truly understood the value of exchange," he said. "Today, you are no longer just a beggar. You have become a businessman." As the train departed, the beggar stood quietly, watching it disappear. The businessman's words sparked a new realization. "Am I really a businessman now?" he asked himself. He reflected deeply and suddenly understood something powerful. "I know the secret of success," he thought. "I am not simply a beggar. I am a trader. People are not giving me money out of pity. They are paying for what I offer." Filled with excitement and courage, he made a bold decision. That very day, he left the railway station and never returned as a beggar. 6 months later, at the same railway station, two well-dressed men met. They shook hands, but one of them looked puzzled. "Do I know you?" he asked. The other man smiled and replied, "Yes, we have met twice before, right here on this very platform." The businessman stared closely, then his eyes widened in surprise. "Wait, you're the beggar? The one I refused to give money to, and later bought flowers from?" The former beggar laughed. "Yes, that was me. But today, I am no longer a beggar. I run a successful flower business, and I'm traveling to expand it further." The businessman was amazed. "That's incredible. What changed?" The flower seller smiled and said, "You taught me one of life's greatest truths. We receive only when we give. That day, I realized I was never truly a beggar. I was a businessman all along. I just had to see myself that way." The two men shook hands again, now as equals, and boarded their trains, each heading toward a future shaped by belief and vision. Life is deeply influenced by how we see ourselves. If you believe you are small, you will remain small. But if you recognize your inner potential, you can achieve greatness. Do not limit yourself. See yourself as strong, capable, and successful, because when your thoughts change, your future changes too. If you enjoyed this story, give it a thumbs up, share what you learned in the comments, and pass it on to inspire others. See you in the next story.